Welcome to the Average Nobody's Podcast, the ultimate home for wrestling enthusiasts, beer drinkers, movie quoters, and pop culture connoisseurs. Here are your hosts, Matt and Ryan.
Welcome to the Average Nobody's Podcast, number 61 for January 14th, 2018. On today's show, we're chatting about last Sunday's Golden Globes, YouTuber Logan Paul, and what we've been watching, Black Mirror Episode 3, Crocodile, and Episode 4, Hang the DJ, for our TV club. You can chat with us on Twitter, at Average Nobodies, toss a like on Facebook, at Average Nobodies, and heart all of our pictures on Instagram, at Average Nobodies. Don't forget, this podcast is available on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and YouTube. My name is Matt, and here with me as always is...
Ryan, welcome
to the show. It's your first time,
Oh.
right?
Thank you. Yeah, long-time listener, first-time caller. Just want to express how happy I am to be a part of the show. Hey, I'm, you know what? We find a way.
Yes.
Whether it be late Sunday night, it doesn't matter.
No,
you know,
it doesn't matter.
we podcast. That's who we are. We're podcasters.
Yes. So this will be, after this episode, we will be 2/3 of the way done with Black Mirror Season 4. Which is sad. So one more episode for Black Mirror Season 4, which we'll probably be back to our regularly scheduled podcast either Wednesday or Thursday this week, and we'll have that out. So you might just get, you might get 2 podcasts within a few days, which is not a bad thing.
I don't think that's ever been done.
No, it's not. This will be the first time in history, actually, that a podcast has ever been released on a Sunday night and then on a Wednesday or Thursday following.
It's the tireless ethic. That's what it is.
That's what it is. Absolutely. So let's dive right into something that was a little ongoing from last week's podcast. We're going to talk about Logan Paul. And as you remember, last week, Logan Paul, a little over just last week, maybe like a week and a half ago, he lost versus the internet and real life as well, because he filmed himself going into the Japanese suicide forest. Forgive me what the actual name of the forest is. He
Wouldn't be able to if you tried anyway. So
yeah. I would just be more disrespectful if I tried to say the name. He went in there filming one of his vlogs. He's a daily vlogger, and he found a dead body hanging from a tree. Not a great situation. He decided to put it in a vlog, edit that vlog, and put it out for everybody to see, and kind of making it like a joke. Obviously, people did not take kindly to this. Then he put out 2 apology videos, one of them which was monetized on YouTube. So his apology video, he was making money off his apology video. Not a great move. So YouTube and Google has finally retaliated, and they cut ties with him. Not completely, unfortunately, but they did cut ties with him as far as their being a preferred ad. I forget what they call it, but it's like, he's in their preferred ad program, so he gets a lot of the good, like, if like a really top name company wants to buy an ad on YouTube, they get preferred treatment because they spend so much money, right? So he's out of that program, so he doesn't get any of the really good ads. He still makes money off of YouTube, but the bigger thing is that YouTube Red, which is the paid YouTube service, right? You can pay for YouTube Red. You don't have any ads, but they also put out original content like Netflix and Hulu does. YouTube Red cut ties with any of his like ongoing productions and anything that he's going to be in the future as well. So any of these original movies, TV shows that he was going to be a part of, some that were in production, are no longer happening, which is probably for the best for YouTube. That's a good look for YouTube and any other advertisers that want to come to YouTube, because that's a huge revenue source for them. But also, it does kind of suck for the people that were going to be working on his projects, because you can't, you know what I mean? Like, this guy's a dick, and Logan Paul is an absolute dick. But, like the people who are going to be working on his shows, like the people who are going to be like, stringing the lights and running the cameras, like they didn't do that,
Yeah, it's, the more I was thinking about it, the more, because like you said, he's a dick. What he did was immensely disrespectful. I mean, you can't do that type of stuff. But at the same time, with stuff like, with platforms like YouTube, it's tough to kind of pick and choose, I guess, where the line is, like where they cross it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's because technically it's free speech. I mean,
right.
They can if YouTube's gonna have you say, film whatever you want and put it on YouTube, like, I mean, I on one side there needs to be like a moral code that you can't cross, which should include filming people, suicide victims. But at the same time, it's like, I mean, is it going to cross over into other things? Like if there's something else that people get outraged about, are they going to also shut that down? I mean, and that's the world we live in now with social media and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's something like on Twitter when you have like white supremacy stuff going on, and it's like, from a moral perspective, that shouldn't be on Twitter. But at the same time, you're kind of going like it's free speech. You can say it. Yeah. Everyone agrees it's wrong, but I don't know. So it's tough. He's obviously all he cares about is making money.
Right.
And it does kind of stink how it affects people who had nothing to do with his vlogs.
Yeah.
People who maybe work on the movies and stuff with him. I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's just a tough thing to fall in because it's the start of, okay, we all agree on this one thing that this is bad, but does it snowball?
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think that this was the tipping point in a lot of ways. YouTube in the past has always been about, they kind of like kept quiet with certain things. They didn't really like punish content creators for breaking like their code, like the rules and regulations of YouTube, which I'll get to in a second as well, but they didn't really do that. So I think that now there was so much uproar that I think that YouTube had to like make an example out of Logan Paul. Whether it was a good or a bad example, I mean, they put their foot in the sand here. And I think going forward, we're going to see a change to the rules and regulations of YouTube because, to be honest, like you were saying, they're very vague. And in the vein of what you were saying, like there's a ton of things that people can get offended at, and a lot of the times that's what these rules and regulations of YouTube, they can be construed as like if like they're not like hard and fast rules. They're just kind of like if you do something that offends this, does something this way or whatever. It's like it's all very subjective. I think, and like like I could probably go online. I could probably go on YouTube and I could find a video. Everybody could find a video in some way breaking the rules. That's like how they're written right now. They're very vague. So I think that those need to change, number one. But I do think that Logan Paul is going to be a line in the sand to where now going forward they're going to be a lot stricter with their content creators because there are a lot of people uploading YouTube on content on YouTube now. This is not like it was before. They have a ton and ton of people that make a living off of YouTube. A very good living that they can sell their ads to. They don't need guys like Logan Paul. They have someone else just as good right behind him. You know what I mean?
And they have their own TV channel coming up now.
Right. So it can't be anarchy, but also you have to be careful because you can't just take away people's free speech because that's a huge no-no, and that's going directly against what YouTube was originally started for, like why they created YouTube. I mean, it's in the title. It's YouTube. It's like people. I mean, you can find anything on YouTube. It's YouTube University. That's like the running. It's not even a joke. It's just that's what it is. Like you can learn how to do anything on YouTube, and it's a great resource, and a great way for people to, get out their perspective on the human condition and life and whatever. So. Yeah, I think it's a tricky situation, but in this situation, I think that they handled it as well as they could. I honestly wish it didn't have to come down to YouTube. I wish that Logan Paul was just a more decent human being and didn't put ads on his apology video. Like, people make mistakes. I get it, and like his excuse was he makes daily shows for however many fucking days in a row he's done it, and like you can get caught up in that. Okay, whatever, but you got to have more self-awareness than that, man. Don't be advertising your apology video.
So now what I was thinking is, now I'm on YouTube right now.
Yeah.
Logan Paul Vlogs has almost 16 million subscribers.
Really?
Yeah. Logan Paul on Twitter has over 4 million followers.
And you want to know what's funny? Before this, right at the time of him getting hit with this whole controversy, he had 3.8 million followers on Twitter.
That's upsetting to me.
That's crazy, right? I mean, and that's the definition of, they should just change the dictionary to pictures, and in the section where it's bad publicity, you know what I mean? There's no such thing as bad publicity. That's it.
And then when you go back to saying, like, you know, he should be the bigger man, he should do this, he's more popular.
Yeah.
They mentioned him on SNL last night.
Did they really? Oh yeah. I mean, he's the talk of the town.
Which I'll talk about when we get to the what we're watching.
Okay.
But I mean, he's gained 400,000 followers on Twitter.
Yeah.
You know, just from this, and it's like I don't follow him.
Yeah.
As far as average nobodies, we don't follow him.
I think he's a bit out of our demographic.
And it's true, like you talked about last week. I mean, he's not. I watched the video with in the Suicide Forest just because, but I'm like, are people are watching this like on a weekly or a daily basis? I guess.
Basis. Yeah.
That's that's crazy. I mean, I'm sure this isn't going to be the last we'll hear of him and of this situation, but I guess it's an ongoing thing. It is a sign of the times.
Yes, and I feel like even now, like it shouldn't be like it should be worse now, but I feel like now people get over things way quicker. They forget so quickly. I feel like it's already a joke on SNL now, which I need you to fill me in later. I need you to fill me in on that, but like people forget so quickly. But in a world where people never forget because the internet is forever. You know what I mean? It's such a weird conundrum. I don't know.
I think it's because we're so tuned in with social media now that unless it's something astronomical, but even then, like I mean, if you look at like the sexual harassment stuff in Hollywood and the first, like even the Harvey Weinstein thing, which is he's still shitty, awful human being, but you don't even talk about him anymore.
Yeah,
that should be a topic. Yeah. What this guy did, like, should be a topic forever. Forever. How such a huge Hollywood producer making hundreds of millions of dollars a year, putting in control of people's careers, and we forget about it in a month. Yeah, because something else has happened.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a punchline that when it gets stale, they just throw it out. You know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't, because that's what it turned into. It was like Harvey Weinstein's a horrible human being. A week later, okay, let's make Harvey Weinstein jokes. Now it's old. No one's talking about Harvey Weinstein anymore. Move on to the next person. Yeah, I don't know.
We're desensitized, is what we are.
Oh,
as a culture, we're desensitized, and it's sad. And I feel it myself. I'll tell you, I worked Saturday. As you know, I work for a tour operator, and we have a tour in Hawaii. And the official report is that an employee sent out a false emergency alert. But I got a call from our tour manager in Hawaii, frantic. Like, this woman had, in her voice, I could sense the most fear I've ever heard in anyone ever. And everyone got an alert that said a ballistic missile had been shot from North Korea to Hawaii. And she called and she's like, "What? I have my people, like our guests are on the bus. I don't know what to do." Obviously, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I like couldn't even speak. And then thankfully, like they made an announcement that it was a mistake, hell of a mistake.
Yeah.
To make, but honestly, like, and I'm thinking, and now like then I just go on with my day. That's the world we live in. I mean, it's insane. It's ridiculous, but that's the world we live in. That I can get a call that says, "Hey, we just got a message that North Korea has fired a ballistic missile into Hawaii." And if that happens, I hope it never does. But if that happens, I don't really care what shelter you have. That's it.
Yeah.
The island of Hawaii is done, and then World War III breaks out, and then the world's probably over. If you think about it, the world is probably over.
Yeah.
But I mean, thankfully, we have a very stable, really great, level-headed president, so we probably don't have to worry about that. But you know what I mean? Like, that's like the stuff that's gonna happen. But I'm like, I gotta go on with my day.
Yeah.
Where maybe before the internet, before all the stuff you see, you might have a different outlook, it might last longer. There's really no shelf life for sensationalism and crazy news anymore. It's just not.
Yep.
It's crazy. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, hopefully
Not-
this what?
It's-
Sorry, what'd you say? You broke up?
No, I said it's not a great thing.
Yeah, no, it's not great. Well, like you said, this is not the last we're going to hear of Logan Paul. And I don't want to say unfortunately, because I'm not trying to condemn this kid from, doing his thing and making, doing his business or whatever.
Right.
But if this is how he's going to gain popularity through this way, whether you want to stay woke or not and say this was all planned so he'd gain those hundreds of thousands of followers on Twitter and millions of views on YouTube, whatever. But if this is how he's going to gain popularity, we can do without that.
I agree.
All right, well, let's move on to something a little more light and fun. So, Golden Globes happened last Sunday. Seth Meyers hosted. What did you think of Seth Meyers? What did you think of Seth Meyers?
I'll tell you what, I like his brother Seth better than Hef.
Yeah, I agree.
I love Seth Meyers. I think we both agree that he's amazing. He's a fantastic late night host. He's kind of ushered in, and it fits in with the Trump presidency, but he's kind of ushered in a more informational late night host, which is crazy. Not crazy, is not the right word, but like Jimmy Fallon precedes him and is the exact opposite.
Oh,
but Jimmy Fallon's his monologues are like, come on, go interview somebody, go play a game with them. Like, that's what he's good at. Jimmy Fallon's like, you want to be friends with him.
Yeah.
Seth Meyers is that guy who's like, he's smarter. He's smarter than me.
Yeah.
He's good at what he does. And in the climate of Hollywood, all the sexual harassment stuff that's going on, the Me Too movement, I think you need someone like him and Kimmel, who's going to be hosting the Oscars. They're the guys who are genuine people. Like, he's saying a monologue, but he's not saying it. He reminds me of like a Ricky Gervais type, where I know a lot of people don't like Ricky Gervais, but Ricky Gervais is true to himself. When he's talking, even though it might be written for him, he's not saying anything he doesn't believe.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah, I totally agree.
And the same thing with Seth Meyers. I love him, and I thought he was great. And he started off on the right foot. The first line he says, "Good evening, ladies and remaining gentlemen," because there's so many guys. I mean, big players, actors, producers, whatever in Hollywood that are gone and probably never going to be heard from again.
No. Oh, hopefully, right?
Hopefully not. I mean, they shouldn't be. You do that type of stuff, you really just take advantage of people and ruin people's lives. You don't deserve to be. They've already made, God knows how much money off of it. Not because of that, but they were able to thrive and succeed and do all this stuff while it was kept quiet. So now that it's out in the open, you know what? Get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need you. I thought he was great. I really liked him. And you know what you're getting with him. It's a standard monologue. He's not going to do the song and dance. Yeah. But I liked it. What about you?
I echo everything you just said. Him being the more informational and like you said, like smarter in that way, late night host, I totally agree. I really wish that there was better timing for when the Daily Show stopped and before they hired Trevor Noah, because I feel like that Seth Meyers would have been a perfect Daily Show host. Like, I feel like that's his thing, because Jon Stewart was like that. It still is.
Yeah.
He's a very smart guy, knows what he's talking about, and he has wit. And he can deliver jokes. Though I think I used to love the Daily Show segments, and that's what Seth Meyers, when he was on like Weekend Update, and how he does it on his show now. Like that's what the old, like the classic Jon Stewart Daily Show segments. That's what it reminds me of, and that's why I like the John Oliver show This Week Tonight on HBO.
Yeah,
I think he has a lot of similar talents as John Oliver in that way, and also obviously the Colbert Report and now the Colbert Show as well. I thought he did a great job. I thought he did awesome.
I think when you can laugh and learn at the same time, it's rare, but
Right.
it's beneficial.
Yeah.
You know, I love watching like John Oliver on HBO because he's funny. He has the punchlines, but he brings up very good points.
Yeah.
And what I like about Seth Meyers is he, you know, even though I tend to agree with him a lot of the times, he's not too biased. You know, he kind of brings it up. He presents the facts to you, and then allows you to kind of form your opinion based off that. And he also understands who he is.
Yeah.
I know we've talked about this a bunch of times, not necessarily on the podcast, but a straight white man is, you're kind of the most privileged person in the world.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you don't got a lot of things going against you.
No.
And he knows that. You know what I mean? He doesn't have any, you know, it's an easy life.
Yeah.
And I think he knows that. And that's why I like the jokes Seth can't tell or whatever the hell it's called.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's stuff that it's not from his perspective.
Yeah.
It's stuff from a woman's perspective. It's stuff from a minority perspective. Anything. So
yeah.
I thought he did a great job, and he just kind of kept things buzzing along. And I love award season anyway. So this is like the first, you know, the Golden Globes is like the warm up to the Oscars. So
Yeah.
I was pretty pumped. So now his monologue, I thought he did a great job. But the Cecil B. DeMille Award winner was none other than Oprah Winfrey.
Oprah.
And she had a hell of a speech.
It was a rousing speech. The one thing I will say is, not about the speech, but before we get into the speech, Oprah was front and center. Like, you could not miss Oprah. Every time they switched the camera angles to face the crowd from the stage, you saw Oprah front and center. And I was like, this is going to be a terrible idea. Everybody's going to be so distracted by Oprah sitting there. And, you know, like, then like the actress from the marvelous Mrs. Maisel, I forget her name. She goes up there. Oh, is it Rachel I don't know how to say her last name. Rachel Brosnan? I don't know. But anyway, I'll be here all night trying to pronounce names correctly. She got up there and she, before she even started her speech, she's like, "Oh, hello, Oprah!" Like, just like sitting right in front. I thought that was funny.
Brosnahan.
There we go. Yeah. So her speech.
What do you think? Is that
okay?
I mean, everybody thinks it's the.
So I thought it was a wonderful speech. I thought it was great. Everybody calling for her to be run for president in 3 years. Stop that right now. Stop it right now. We don't need to continue this trend. Not that Oprah is a fucking lunatic like the current president we have, right? But we just can't. I just can't have everybody who fucking decides they're gonna run for president. It's not how it works. We need actual. And I'm not saying that Oprah is not capable of doing the job, right? For all I know, she could be a fantastic president. But there are people, whether you like to believe this or not, there are people that spend their entire lives working as public servants that would be better suited for the presidency. Even though by the time they get to the presidency, sure, they've been swayed and their pockets are lined with lots of money because of all the lobbying they're doing for company A, company B, whatever. There are legitimate people that I don't know that are no, I don't want to say better suited because that's not the case. But I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I think just people that are more they're more equipped for the position, I think. I don't know. That's my thought on it.
I want politics to be boring again.
Right. That's the best way to put it. That's the easiest way, simplest way to put it for me. It's like, yeah, that's it. that's it.
And also, pretty sure Oprah lives a pretty fantastic life.
Right. She's not going to run for president.
Why the hell would you want to be the president of the United States?
That's the worst job in America.
The worst.
It's the
by
worst.
far.
Yes.
By far.
Yeah.
Thankless. No matter, even if you're good at it.
Yeah.
Which no one apparently ever has been in the history of the world,
right.
The history of the country, if you look back. Everyone's always hates, it's crazy. I love the speech. I love Oprah. She's a hell of a public speaker.
Mm-hmm.
And she can certainly get a crowd behind her. But I agree.
Yeah.
Enough with the celebrity presidents. I want the president to be the most boring man or woman I've ever met who's been a congressman or a senator or a governor or whatever. And I just don't want to hear about them.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about them anymore. On SNL, a Weekend Update this week, Michael Che was like, I just want it to be where when someone says, hey, did you hear what the president said? And he's like, no, I didn't. I didn't hear what the president said. And I don't care. It doesn't matter.
That's funny. That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
It's wild. Hey,
it was a great speech.
Yeah. It was a great speech.
Well deserved. But I agree, man. No Oprah, no The Rock, no Tom Hanks.
No.
We don't need that.
Yeah. And for us to say no Tom Hanks is president, then we really mean it. Because Tom Hanks is the most delightful human being on earth. You know, Tom Hanks is the vice president to Oprah. I don't want that. Like those. I remember when those shirts, like it was like, you know, in like the political fashion, like someone's last name, and then the year they would be running. Like, was a funny joke. But now it's like, I'm scared to wear those shirts because people are going to actually think that I want fucking Kanye West and Kim Kardashian to run in 2020.
It's too real now.
It's too real. I can't do it anymore. Like, I got to find my shirt. I used to have a shirt my mom got me that was Grimes Dixon, you know, whatever year it was. And like, I was like, that was hilarious back in the day when Obama was still president. But now it's just scary.
They're taking the fun out of it now. You can't even do that.
Yeah, definitely. So some other highlights for me, as far as winners go. Big fan that Guillermo del Toro won Best Director. I'm super excited to see Shape of Water. So I'm really putting my the horse before the carriage here. No wait, is that the correct? Yeah, right. The horse before the carriage. Is that the proper?
I think it's the carriage before the horse.
The carriage before the horse, because the horse before the carriage would be right. Okay. Okay. Well, anyway. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I am a big fan of his filmmaking, and I've heard a lot of good things. So I'm very happy about that. Rachel Brosnahan, if I said that correctly, winning for Mrs. Maisel. I adore that show. Not only is she a star, but Tony Shalhoub having a little bit of a renaissance.
He's good in it?
He's amazing. I think I told you this in the group chat from the Golden Globes, but I love this is not bad. I love the New York Jew as a character, right? Like how they put how a New York Jewish person is and acts and talks. It's like a specific thing, just like any nationality or whatever. It's a very specific, right?
And the guy in the Deuce,
right? Yes, and I mean, like you got like characters from Seinfeld, like all that stuff. It's like it's a very tangible thing.
Jerry Seinfeld.
yeah, Jerry Seinfeld, like New York Jew, like I love it. And he's like, this is set in the 50s, so it's like,
oh wow,
yeah, he's so good and so funny. And he plays her dad. Oh, it's so good. But yeah, it's a great show. Amazon has a slam dunk of a hit on their hands. It's so good. And then the other one that stood out for me was Ewan McGregor. What a nice surprise for Fargo to get recognized.
He played two parts in that.
It's right, and apparently this year is hot for people playing two parts in roles.
Yeah,
because you got the Deuce. I don't know if there's any others, but two is a lot more than there usually is.
Yeah. Well, do you watch Mozart in the Jungle?
I don't.
Okay, you have Amazon though, correct?
I do have Amazon. Yes, you've told me many times, so you need to remind me of what it is. I'm
gonna implore you to watch that. It's about the New York City Orchestra.
Okay.
It's because Holly and I are gonna start the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel this week.
Excellent.
But the Mozart in the Jungle, Matt, you're gonna fall in love. You're not gonna be able to stop watching it. It's a half-hour comedy, but it's unreal. 2 seasons, I think.
Okay.
And season 3 starting in early February. You gotta watch it. It's awesome. I can't wait to watch the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
I'm excited to see Mozart in the Jungle now. I gotta finally watch that. And half hour.
I'll text you every day.
Yeah, I'm glad that there's 2 seasons now, and it's only a half hour, because if I really start to enjoy it, I'll burn through that shit in no time.
Oh, Holly and I watch a season a day.
How many episodes are there in a season?
10.
Oh my god, I'm gonna burn through that.
Yeah. Are you working
dangerous.
tomorrow?
I am working tomorrow, unfortunately. Yeah.
You should quit your job and watch this.
Maybe I should do that. I'll think about it.
Okay, I appreciate it. Winners that I really liked from the Golden Globes. And it stinks he's in the news now for the wrong things, but Aziz Ansari won Best Actor in a musical or comedy TV series for Master of None, which I fucking adore. It's so good.
Yep.
But they just had some allegations come out about him.
Yeah, I know.
It stinks because you gotta stay consistent. Like, just because someone I like doesn't mean it's like, nah, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
I hope it didn't. I hope it's not true. But at the same time, you gotta believe the woman who are saying it.
Yeah.
Or else you're tearing everything apart. But I loved him in Master of None, so I was happy he won. And Big Little Lies was one of the best shows I've seen in a long, long time. It was a miniseries on HBO. I don't think you watched it, did you?
I haven't watched it yet. I do plan on seeing it though.
And you gotta. It's so good. Laura Dern, Nicole Kidman, Reese Witherspoon, Alexander Skarsgård,
so handsome.
Adam Scott. Oh my God, he doesn't make sense as a human being. I don't understand.
Yeah,
he plays a very, very dark character in that show. But it won Best Miniseries or TV Film. Nicole Kidman won Best Actress. Those are the two that I kind of knew, and then Sterling K. Brown too.
Yeah.
From This Is Us, who is just bonkers as an actor. He's so goddamn good. Sam Rockwell too. Which,
yeah, that was nice.
And he was A+ on SNL.
I can't wait to watch that. I'm gonna watch it while I'm editing this. Actually.
Yeah, it was. You're not gonna want to skip a sketch. He was so good. It was great. James Franco, who I know we both like. Again, I guess maybe we shouldn't like anyone anymore.
Yeah, I know.
Because he's also in the, he's had some allegations against him too. So it's, geez, I don't know.
Yeah,
not good for men in Hollywood.
Nope.
Apparently, you just can't be a nice guy.
Yeah,
unless you're Sam Rockwell.
Yeah. So that's unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. I really want to go back to Guillermo del Toro. How about his acceptance speech?
Oh,
it was a great acceptance speech. He's such a humble guy and like just very, I don't know. He seems very like real to me. Like he's just like, I don't know. Like he just like, I don't know. Like very authentic, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. He very authentic. And I love how when they started playing the music, he was like, no, like just stop. Let me finish. And they stopped. They stopped playing him off. They just stopped it. I thought that was great. I didn't think he had that kind of star power.
I didn't either. Maybe he has like some type of odd mind control over people.
I don't know. Shape of Water won 2, right? Just the 2? Was it him for director and score?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I gotta imagine it'll pick up at least one at the Oscars.
I don't know. I mean, he seems to be the front runner, I think, for the best director.
Yeah.
That 3 Billboards, which I really want to see.
Me too.
The acting must be good. I mean, Frances McDormand and Rockwell both won, and then Woody Harrelson. I don't think he's ever been bad in anything ever. So.
No. Yeah.
But yeah, I think Shape of Water. It should definitely get nominated, at least for director and score, and possibly even Best Picture.
Yeah. Yep. Maybe.
What did you think of Natalie Portman's mini statement?
Oh, the men.
Best male directors or best men directors or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was a little like funny. Like it wasn't subtle at all. But
no.
Oh God, what's his name? Brian Howard. God.
Ron Howard.
Howard could not have been more like he definitely wasn't ready for that. He wasn't ready for that joke to come through. Not joke, but you know.
But yeah, it reminded me of when Mike Myers and Kanye West were presenting.
Yeah.
And Kanye West said George Bush hates black people. And Mike Myers, it looked like somebody just shot Mike Myers in the face. He was like, Are you fucking kidding me? Like, what am I supposed to do here?
If we wanted a reason for why Mike Myers isn't on TV much anymore, that's the reason why.
It.
That's why.
Yeah. He's like, are you goddamn kidding me? Like, what am I supposed to do?
Please, if you haven't seen that video, haven't seen the video of him, just type in Kanye West, Mike Myers. Oh my God, it's hilarious. Oh, it's so funny. But yeah,
Myers was master of like improv and all, reacting to situations.
Yeah.
He did not know what to do.
If you want to call Kanye West untalented, I say nay, sir. He made Mike Myers break on TV.
Yeah,
the master of.
I think he also broke Mike Myers' spirit as well. Like that was it.
I can see Mike Myers' face in my head. I can see him look.
just the expressionless face.
Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's great. That was how Ron Howard felt at that moment. I thought it was, rightfully so. The jab.
Yep. Yeah. It was. I mean, that I agree. I'm trying to think of what movies they were saying. Oh, Lady Bird.
Yeah, right, Lady Bird. I'm like, it's not like you can't say that there wasn't talented female directors this year. Lady Bird is regarded as one of the best movies of the year. How is she not nominated?
Yeah.
So that's tough. That's a tough look.
It is. Speaking of expressionless faces, Kirk Douglas got rolled out. Oh. Why is he still out there? I mean, the poor guy. I feel bad for him. He doesn't know what the hell's going on.
No, not at all. He literally.
It's not funny, but it's funny.
He literally gets dragged into this. Like he doesn't have a choice.
No, he is 101 years old.
Is he actually 101?
He's 101.
Oh my God, that's incredible. He's older than the Golden Globes are.
Yeah. Yes.
By a lot. By 26 years.
He was born in 1916.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
He's seen the development of like the automobile, like a computer, a plane,
airplanes. Yeah.
Like I wonder how he must have got around via horse or something when he was a child.
Especially if his family wasn't well off, and I don't know what the Douglases back in the early 1900s were like. The Douglases now are pretty good, but who knows what Kirk Douglas and his family were doing in 1916 for transportation? Probably horse and buggy or walking.
Did they have trains back then?
Yeah, I think there were trains. Yeah, there were trains because there were trains. Yeah, the Great American Railroad.
But it sucks if you have to get like just 15 minutes down the road. Like you're not gonna take the train.
No.
But you also don't have a car.
Nope. You're walking in every weather, all type of weather. So I'm gonna say something that I didn't know. I didn't know that Kirk Douglas, and I guess I didn't really put two and two together. But I didn't know that Catherine Zeta-Jones was related to Kirk Douglas because she's married to Michael Douglas.
Yeah,
that's kind of crazy. I did not know that. Did not realize that. I also found out today how Michael Douglas picked up Catherine Zeta-Jones. Do you want to know how?
I would love to know.
He went up to her and said, "I want you to have my babies."
So wait, really?
Yeah. So in a world that we live in now, picture that. That's what the word on the street is there. You know what I mean? But I'm sure there's embellishment and whatnot. But also, if you told me that Michael Douglas said that to Catherine Zeta-Jones when they first met, I'd probably be like, yeah, all right, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not going to deny it.
Yeah. It's a great story to tell your kids, I'll tell you what. Yeah, but Kirk Douglas,
it's a little disappointing.
What?
It's a little disappointing.
Yeah.
Like he didn't have a better pickup line than that?
Yeah, I guess not. I guess he was just so overcome with emotion that's all that came out. But Kirk Douglas, it's one thing to wheel his 101 101-year-old self on stage. It's another to make him speak.
Yeah.
You can't let him speak. You can't.
Oh. It's like letting Christopher Walken do live choreography on Peter Pan.
Yeah. You can't. You can't allow that.
No, there's gotta be a cutoff. Yeah. I think 101 is a decent request.
Yeah.
to cut someone off.
Yes, a wave. I'll say it this way: a wave would have went a long way. Right?
Yeah.
Just a wave would have went a long way. Didn't need the speech.
Like anything. He doesn't have to speak because it wasn't a speech. I don't know what the hell he said.
No, everybody understood like the first like 3 words, and then that was it. Who knows? He could have went off the rails and said something terrible, and no one would have known. No one would have known. He's telling everybody to go fuck themselves, and everybody's clapping and cheering and standing ovations for fucking Kirk Douglas, and he's telling everybody to go fuck themselves. Asking where the whites' bathroom is.
Where's the white drinking fountain? Yeah, it's I don't know. That seems blunt. Although I will say, if they're gonna start with the Golden Globes, wheel them out to every award show. You know what I mean? Let's just make it a thing. Let's just make it a thing.
It should be instead of where in the world is Matt Lauer, because that's not gonna happen anymore. Let's do where in the award show is Kirk Douglas, and just like they'll just have him set up somewhere in the ballroom or in the room, and you gotta like as the show's going, you gotta tweet where he is. So like he's in the balcony, he's under the stage, he's behind the curtain. They just like have him like sitting over in the corner.
And guys, going so fast.
Meanwhile, Kirk Douglas is like, "Oh, please, someone kill me! Please, someone just kill me!
Why hasn't anyone killed me yet?
I've lived a good life. Someone end it."
101. That's too much.
That's a hell of a life, man. Good for him.
That is
good for him.
You lived a century. Good for him.
Yeah. But. Ryan, what are you watching this week?
So I watched a documentary on HBO called David Bowie: The Last 5 Years.
Ooh, heard good things.
It was very, very good. Focused on his last 5 years, obviously, but it focused on the last 2 albums he made, and then he wrote a Broadway play as well.
In the last 5 years of his life, he did this?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And I think he like when they interviewed everyone, it kind of showed like how he kind of knew. He almost like knew till the day he was going to die.
Really?
Yeah. It was crazy. Because in 2004, I don't know, 2004, 2006, he went on this long tour, the longest tour of his life, in his career. And at the end of the tour, he was kind of losing it health-wise. It was like crazy fatigue and all this stuff, and he ended up taking like 3 or 4 years off. And then he finally got back in the studio and did The Next Day, which was the album he did in 2013. And then Black Star was the album he did in 2016, which got released the day of his death, I think.
Jesus. Or
the day before his death.
Wow.
But he also wrote a musical called Lazarus, a Broadway musical. But man, he is such a fascinating guy. And it really focused on his strenuous relationship with fame, where when he in the 60s and 70s when he was coming up, which I believe, he just wanted to make music. I mean, being a celebrity wasn't really a thing back then. Like now, people purposely try to just get famous. Yeah. But back then, he wanted to write music. He wanted to be a performer, and he always said how he was like a very shy person, and he was always uncomfortable in crowds. But when he was able to like paint his face or create this character, because he kept reinventing himself throughout his career, he felt comfortable, and he always loved music. So he was able to make music in character, not as David Bowie, but as, he was Stardust, Ziggy Stardust, I think was one of like his personas, but it was really cool how it focused on how he loved making music. He loved making an impact, but he hated fame. He hated cameras. He hated the study of it. But how he really wanted to be known as someone who kind of made a difference in the music world and the regular world, and how people viewed him. And if you looked at him as a role model, it was a positive thing. It was really cool. And it's crazy to think he did that just in the last 5 years of his life. 2 albums and a Broadway musical. while you have this disease, he had cancer that took his life.
Yeah.
The energy that is unreal.
Did the Broadway show ever get to Broadway? Did it open?
I don't know. They didn't really talk about it too much.
I'm sure that if it's not, or it's in the works.
Yeah, it's called Lazarus. I mean, he wrote it, and there's somebody I'm gonna trust. I have really numbers, probably David Bowie. So I don't know if it ever got big on Broadway, if it's gonna be big, but if it ever comes, sure as hell gonna go check it out.
Absolutely.
But yeah, very good. It's called David Bowie: The Last 5 Years. It's on HBO Go. You can watch it anytime on HBO. And also, I watched Sam Rockwell's SNL.
Excellent.
SNL came back from almost a month hiatus with Sam Rockwell last night, and it was far and away the best one of this season.
That's so awesome. Good for him.
Yeah, he was fantastic. So you haven't watched it yet, so I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet.
It was really, really good. You're gonna have a couple in the cold open. There's a couple really one amazingly awesome guest star.
Okay.
And another good one. But yeah, the cold open had 2 really cool guest stars. His monologue was really good. He did kind of a song and dance. And I liked all the sketches. And each character he played or that someone else played had like a little tweak to it that you kind of found out throughout the sketch. Like, you'll see when you watch it, but it was really, really good. I enjoyed him a lot. He also dropped an F-bomb. And Mike Ryan, he writes for Up Rocks, but he does all the SNL reviews every week.
Yeah.
He actually went to the show last night.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he was saying that, like, after Rockwell dropped the F-bomb, like, before the next sketch, he went up to Lorne, like, just, like, so bummed out, like, apologizing to him. And Lorne was like, it's all right. But he's like, he just looks so upset that he did it. Because it was clearly accidental. Like, he was just talking in the sketch, and he was going to say fucking.
Yeah.
Like, instead of, like, freaking or frigging or whatever. Yeah. And he just was like, fuck. And then he stopped. So I but like, he didn't obviously mean to do it.
Yeah.
Like, this guy who's been like a actor forever, and you finally get an SNL, like, you just won a Golden Globe, like, you're doing all this cool stuff. But it didn't affect him the rest of the episode. But I just kind of felt bad that he didn't obviously mean to do it. But he was fantastic. So I can't wait for you to watch it. It was really good.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna watch it tonight.
How about yourself? What have you been watching?
A few things. So I just got back from seeing The Greatest Showman for the second time. I don't know if we talked about this last time on the podcast, but I adore this movie. It's amazing. It's what La La Land was for me last year, is what The Greatest Showman is for me this year. I love musicals, and they did such a tremendous job. I mean, the songwriters are the same from La La Land to this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, same writers. It's the duo, the 2 names. I don't know. Same writers of the music, but it's just amazing. The direction is fantastic. The choreography is stunning. And if you can see it on the big screen, I highly recommend seeing it on the big screen. Zac Efron, we didn't talk about this at all last week, did we?
No.
Okay. So I'll
talked about it in person.
Yeah, I'll go into a little detail because I talked about it on the Make Movies Great Again podcast in detail, but I'll go in a little bit here. Here's the main thing that I took away from it. First of all, Zendaya, I think that's her name. Is that her name? Shit.
Yes.
Okay, Zendaya, she was awesome, and she needs to be in the lead in more things. Michelle Williams was fantastic as well. Hugh Jackman is such a delight, and like, he should be singing and dancing in every single movie he's in. Like, I'm ready to call Fox and Disney and be like, Logan 2 the musical, please. Like, have that up, ready to go. And then also, Zac Efron. Zac Efron, it's a tragedy of what Hollywood has been using him for in the last few movies he's been in. I need him in more artistic roles like this, and song-driven and dancing-driven roles like musicals, because he's a delight. So amazing. And his voice is incredible, and there's a lot of scenes where he does his own like I don't want to say it's not stunt dancing, but there's some dance moves that in any other actor, even like Hugh Jackman in the role, you can tell that like some, and I read online as well that it wasn't all him dancing, right? But Zac Efron did a lot of his own, like all of his own dancing in this. And there's a scene with him and Zendaya. It's incredible. They're doing like a trapeze act and they're swinging around like the circus, the main ring of the circus. It's something else. Also, every single song is a toe tapper. It's very good. Soundtrack is terrific. So, a huge fan of The Greatest Showman, if you can't tell.
I really want to see it. I don't know when we're gonna go, but
like I said, if you can see it in theaters, see it in theaters. But if not, just see it any way you can. Really, just watch it. I think it deserves that for sure. I've been watching The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Love that show. Talked about it already. Earlier this week, I was in New York for work, and my hotel had HBO, all the HBO channels, which was fantastic. So I watched a bunch of movies, most of which I've seen before. Aaron Brockovich.
Watch Aaron Brockovich too.
Really? Oh yeah. So haven't seen it in a long time. Really enjoy that movie. But I watched Deepwater Horizon, the movie with Mark Wahlberg about the rig that creates the BP oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico, a few years back. That was it's exactly what I thought of it. Mark Wahlberg, it's amazing that Mark Wahlberg makes as much money as he does. He's such a I don't know, like in some roles he's great, in other roles he's just like could have put anybody there. You really could have just put anybody there. He didn't really steal the show. He's just like so like I don't know. But yeah, that's what I thought of that. Kate Hudson was his wife. I love Kate Hudson. That was cool.
Oh, the best.
I love Kate Hudson. And then I watched Jackass the movie while I was in New York as well. Obviously, I've seen this movie 1,000 times, but I'm watching this movie and thinking, like, for its time, they got away with a lot of shit. Like, having this movie come out in a regular theater. Like, that's crazy to me. Like, and they do some wild shit in that movie. But I just like the nostalgia factor of that one because they were coming off of their TV show when that movie came out. Like, people forget that, like, Jackass was a TV show at one point. And before that, it was just a few guys, including Johnny Knoxville, doing some stupid shit for Big Brother magazine. Like, I watched that documentary on Hulu. It's great. I think it's Hulu. I think it's on Hulu. It was awesome. If you want to go check that out, it's called Dumb, the story of Big Brother magazine. It's how a lot of the guys on Jackass got their start. But it's kind of crazy. So they're all very, like, green to, like, making movies and, for a movie that's just, like, different segments of them, like, hurting themselves and shit like that, it has a kind of weird flow to it that you kind of understand. It's very strange. Jeff Tremaine is a genius in that way. But, yeah, anyway, Jackass the movie. You want to get into TV Club?
I'm ready.
All right. So, first, let's start on a low. We're going to talk about episode 4.3, Crocodile. In this one, a woman interviews various people using a device that allows her to access their memories. She's an insurance adjuster, right?
Yes.
Right? She at first she's trying to, this guy walks into this, well, no, I guess, how do you want to start with this recap?
Yeah, so the episode starts with Mia,
yes,
and her boyfriend or whoever at the time. They're driving. The whole episode is shot in Iceland. It's gorgeous. The scenery is gorgeous in the whole episode. But so they're driving on this road. Well, they're in a rave right at the beginning.
Yeah, they're drinking. Yeah.
Drinking, doing all this stuff, and I think when they're driving, it's not right after that, right? It's just like a split event.
I don't know. I think it was like supposed to be like kind of right after, like the morning, like they probably raved into the morning and then they drove their car away.
Yeah. So anyway, they're driving in Iceland on this like road where no one's on, and they hit someone, killed the man, and her boyfriend decides to get rid of the body. And then you flash forward to she's this like very successful woman with a family, and has to do a conference where she has to stay at a hotel, and the boyfriend comes back because the wife of the man that they killed is putting out like, looking for posters for him, right? Like he's a missing person. And I mean, it had to be years later, right?
Yeah.
She had a,
I thought they said it was 10 years. I thought
10 years,
yeah.
And the guy's got a guilty conscience, but she's obviously moved on and is like, that's, in the past. And that's into motion a chain of events that are very disturbing.
Yes.
And entwined in this is Shaza, who is an insurance adjuster who goes and meets with people who are putting in accident claims or trying to make money off of accidents. Mm-hmm. And it just so happened that the accident happened while the woman, Mia, was at the hotel room when the boyfriend came to confront her. I mean, there's a lot of stuff happening in this episode.
All right, everybody. We lost power for a second, but we're back. Ryan, take it away. Black Mirror episode 4.3, Crocodile.
My flawless interpretation of the episode. So because it takes place in two different timelines. So you have the beginning of the episode, which was 10 years prior to the present, with Mia and her boyfriend who hit the guy. He died. They get rid of the body. And then the majority of the episode takes place in the present, which is 10 years later, when the boyfriend confronts Mia in her hotel room about the guy they killed. She ends up killing the boyfriend, smothers him, right, or chokes him.
Yeah, chokes him out on the floor.
And at the same time, some guy gets hit by a Pizza Hut delivery truck, right?
Yeah, it was like a Domino's or Pizza Hut delivery, like what do you want to call it? It's like a self-driving truck,
right? Which unfortunately brings in Shaza, or Shaja, however you pronounce her name, who's the insurance person who has to go and interview everyone who could have possibly seen the accident. And they have this technology that they link to your brain, and you can kind of think back to that day, which progressively gets to Mia again.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a very dark episode.
It was very, very dark. So it's this domino effect on both sides, really. So you have, like, ground zero is that pizza incident. Then Mia kills her, like, ex-boyfriend, whatever, the guy who, like, helped them hide the body. And at that point, it sends off a chain of reactions in the other way that leads Shaza back to, eventually, to Mia. And at that point, Mia's going on like a rampage of just killing people.
Yeah. She's trying to cover it up as best he can, but
yeah,
it gets a little excessive.
Yes. And so it ends up ending with you don't see it, but Mia kills Shaza's husband and their infant baby.
That's blind.
That's blind, that you find out is blind, because she had to kill this baby because you can't leave any witnesses with this type of technology out there. But what she didn't know is that there was also a guinea pig in the room that saw everything. So now the guinea pig is the quote-unquote hero, and there's a baby dead in this wonderful episode of Black Mirror.
It's really uplifting, beautiful episode. It was dark. It was tough to watch. So USS Callister has a happy ending as far as the Black Mirror universe goes, but it was still a happy ending in the sense that it was in a alternate reality. Like the characters in USS Callister wasn't their real lives.
Yeah,
and it wasn't necessarily. I guess it was a happy ending.
Yeah, sort of.
But like someone still died. Like the guy still was dead. Archangel was definitely not happy. I mean, it wasn't morbid, but it was, it was still a girl running away from home and a mother left without her daughter, and then they throw a crocodile in there, and Jesus Christ, it is just it. It honestly, I watched Crocodile, and I did not watch Hang the DJ, which was the next one we'll talk about, for a week.
Yeah,
I just didn't. I didn't know what Hang the DJ was about. I was like, I can't watch this show I need to take a break.
yeah.
I needed to take a break. It was very heavy, which is weird because it contrasts with the acting is fantastic, as it always is.
Yeah.
And I really liked having been to Iceland, that Icelandic scenery is so cool. It's such a beautiful country. It's just like it, and there's a loneliness, there's an emptiness to Iceland because it's a country that it's huge, but there's 500,000 people in the whole country.
Yeah,
it's crazy. So there's an emptiness, there's a loneliness to it that I thought they did very well, and clearly Mia was feeling that, after even though she tried to put this behind her. That's something that you don't really forget, hopefully, when you just murder someone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's murder, but it wasn't purposeful murder, but still, he killed someone.
Yeah.
But it was an interesting episode title, Crocodile.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different things that I've seen that try to relate to the episode title, and a lot of it has to do with kind of the traits of an actual crocodile, the animal. And a lot of things I've read is that crocodiles have this ability to associate memories with like smell or hearing. Like that's kind of how which I don't know how the hell you test this, but which kind of goes back to the technology that they use in the episode with Shaza.
Mm-hmm.
And she uses the smell of the beer kind of to remind people of that day.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, personally, I saw it as like a crocodile is a predator.
Mm-hmm.
It's a predator that on the surface might not always look like a predator, but when it has to or when it does strike, it's almost always deadly.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, Mia was the crocodile.
Absolutely.
It was always bubbling at the surface. And then once she had to kind of kick that into gear, she murdered a lot.
A lot. Yeah. It was super dark, this episode. It wasn't my favorite episode of Black Mirror, and probably not even like near, like even close to like, I don't know. It was pretty far at the bottom. Not only because of how like traumatic it was, like that's terrible as well, but I didn't like the predictability of it. As soon as you start with that first guy who, I forget who the first guy she interviewed, where you knew it was going to end up getting back to Mia, right? Yeah. And you had a feeling that after Mia kills that guy, now she's probably going to kill more and do anything to make sure that shit doesn't get brought back up or get found out, So it kind of had predictability to it. I'll tell you what, I didn't predict her killing a blind baby. But up until that moment, I kind of like, it didn't land with me. Like other episodes of Black Mirror really like, hit you one way and then they blindside you, with something else. So
I will say I did not predict the hamster.
Yeah.
It was going the
no.
It was going to savior.
Yeah, no. Absolutely not. Did not predict that as well. You're right. So maybe it is surprising in that way.
But I agree, though. It was kind of, and it almost felt like they just like overused the killing, for the first time. Like they used it to a fault, where it's like, oh, you want to get rid of a problem, just kill them. It's like, what? Wait, like,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that just seems like too simple of a solution. I know Charlie Brooker, who's the creator, he wrote every episode this season, so I don't know if he like ran out of ideas. It was like, yeah, just have her kill everyone.
Yeah, I don't know.
And she got caught at the end, which is not, I mean, cool, I guess, but she still killed like a lot of innocent people.
Mm.
But yeah, It was a tough one. It was a tough one to digest. It was a tough one to move on from. Did you have anything else you wanted to add for this one?
No, that's it. I'm just really glad that I didn't wait like you, because I would have been stewing on it for as long as you stopped watching. I would have been like probably even worse, because that was so dark. But I watched Hang the DJ right after and brought me right back up. It just brought me right back up to like feeling good about Black Mirror.
Hang the DJ was as delightful an episode as I've seen of this show.
Right. I mean, you got San Junipero, even USS Callister for for some of it, but it's a great episode. So just quickly, is this what you have written down here on the document? Is that like kind of like the synopsis of it?
That's the IMDb synopsis. Yep.
So paired up by a dating program that puts an expiration date on all relationships, Frank and Amy soon to begin to question the system's logic. This episode is kind of like, it's one of these great Black Mirror episodes where it's like Russian nesting dolls. You know what I'm talking about? Those things like they're
you keep picking them up and
yeah. So you think you're in one reality, but you're not. You're in a different one. You're in a bigger reality. So Frank and Amy get put up on. It just seems like Black Mirror's modern day twist on a dating app, right? It's this thing. They show up at this dinner. They're required to go to this dinner at a certain time. They sit down at the table. You can tell something's up because they're like concerned about what side of the table they're supposed to be sitting on and whatnot. So you're like, oh, there's a little something more here. There's kind of like people watching them, like guards almost, like watching them and seeing what's going on. So you're like, oh, this is kind of weird, but it's Black Mirror, so you got to be ready for anything. And then they have the option to check their expiration date, which is how long their relationship will last. And supposedly the app program that they're using is meant to find like their perfect match eventually. So along the way, you match up with these people, it collects information, and then eventually puts you with someone that you will get married to and spend the rest of your life with, right? That's what on the surface, that's what it looks like. Well, Frank and Amy meet, right? They really hit it off. But it was only for a very short time. I forget what theirs was for. It was like 12 hours or something like that.
Yeah, very short.
Right, 12 hours. And then for the most part, besides them meeting here and there, you have you see them separately. They're on their other relationships. Some are for up to, I think it was like the longest was up to a year, right? And then the other one was like 9 months. Or did they have like a longer one too?
No, I think those are the longest ones.
Right, those are like a year and 9, yeah, here and there and whatnot. Yeah, and then eventually they one of them gets paired up with the person they're going to marry. I believe Amy does, right?
Yes.
And so she has the option to, and please stop me if I'm missing anything. She has the option to. Oh wait, you know what? Hold on, I did miss something. They got paired up again.
After the first time.
Right, after the first time. They got paired up a second time, right?
Yeah. So they get paired up the first time and they don't do anything. Like sexually. They don't hook up or anything, and then they each kind of go through a bunch of people and they hook up, and it's from anywhere to a day to a month to a year with all these other people, and then they get paired up again.
Yeah.
And they decide not to check the expiration. Well, they agree originally to not check their expiration date.
Yeah.
Because they kind of like didn't. And I love the director of this episode was Tim Van Patten, who's directed a bunch of episodes of The Sopranos, did a bunch of episodes of Boardwalk Empire and The Wire. He's just a very good. He's a very good director, but. I like how when they were showing, like you could tell they got along when they first paired up. And it was cool how, she didn't hook up with him right away. But then with the other people, you could tell it wasn't as important to her. Mm-hmm. The other people she was with. But they did that really without dialogue. They kind of did it with just kind of letting the actors do their thing. Georgina Campbell played Amy. Joe Cole played Frank. they just kind of let them use their body language, their facial expressions, and I mean, it told the story better than any monologue could do.
Yeah.
Of just like how unhappy they were, and then they get paired up again, and they're not supposed to. You know, they said we're not going to check our expiration date, but Frank kind of can't help himself.
Yeah.
So,
and so he checks it, and at first it says what 5 years.
Yeah.
And then it starts ticking down, and it ends up being like it ends up going down to like a few hours, and then that's it, and then they're done. Amy moves on. She finds this other guy in the app, and they're about to get married, but she has the option to reconnect with somebody else before they go off and like have the rest of their life. And she obviously chooses to connect with Frank. Her and Frank run away together because they want to break the system, even though they're getting like they think they're gonna get chased by like the system or whatever. But come to find out that like no one can really stop them. They climb the wall out of this like gated walled area. And they're like out into nothing. And then that's where I say it's like the Russian nesting doll. It ends up being a simulator, and they're just at a bar, and I don't know, it's like a similar app. But it runs, how many simulations does it run? Like almost instantly? It's like
1,000.
It's like 1,000. And then out of that 1,000, how many times do you guys end up together for one reason or another? Does it happen? And it was like what 998 out of 1,000 times they ended up together.
Yeah, so you had to be a 99.8% match.
Yeah,
and they won.
Yeah, and so
it was cool. It kind of showed you the inner workings of like an app, I guess, or like how that app would work with the real people. And I think the way it differed from other happier episodes of Black Mirror is that the happiness happened in the real life. You know, where like USS Callister, San Junipero, the happiness is happening in an alternate universe.
Right. That's a good point.
But in this one, I mean, we didn't, you know, you don't get to see how they end up in real life. But if the app is correct, you know, these two are meeting and they're going to have a great life together.
Yeah. Which is really cool.
All the adversity and all that type of stuff was happening inside the app in an alternate reality. They weren't personally experiencing it.
Yeah.
But it was just very well done. I just love how they play with technology in that respect. You know, it's just so well done, and it was I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
Like it was a cool reveal at the end. It's like I did not expect it to be. I didn't expect the whole episode to be. You know, the inside of an app.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I thought that was, you know, I knew there was something off.
You're right.
Like
Same thing.
They had the people watching them, you know, in the security in the black shirts and stuff. Like, obviously, it was something that was a little odd about it, but
the fact that they didn't have jobs.
Yep.
They just lived in this tiny house with their significant other and did things and whatever, and I don't know. Yeah. I knew there was something more.
Yeah, but it was a cool reveal. I did like it.
Yeah, same here. I thought it was great. And then and this was a kind of a cool one too, where when it ends up, you know, it shows the bar and it shows Frank walking up, and they're like Mia and him meet eyes. Frank and Mia meet eyes. Not Frank and Amy meet eyes. Oh God, please not Mia.
Mia.
She's killing everybody at the bar.
Not again.
When Frank and Amy like lock eyes, and then the music that's happening in the bar is the song, and it's a song where "Hang the DJ" is the and I'm sure there's something deeper to that I didn't get, but that was kind of cool. You know, kind of wrapped up the episode, and then you saw them all like really happy together, and like they decided they want to be with each other no matter what, and then you see them for the first time meeting at the bar, and you know what's to come. You know, or you know what 99.8% of the chance is gonna come.
They've done it 1,000 times.
Yeah, so I thought that was very cool and very well done in the type of Black Mirror episode that I really enjoy.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, you know, it's focused on the technology. It's a futuristic type thing, but it still comes down to human relationships, like how people treat each other, how people care about each other, and that's something that I think isn't going to hopefully change with technology.
Yeah.
You know, you care about someone, you want to be with someone, that's a universal feeling. That's not something that's going to be influenced by technology or anything. So it kind of felt simple and basic, but at the same time using, futuristic technology. I really liked it.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything else you wanna tack on the end there?
Um, I don't think so. I like it's definitely a recurring theme of Black Mirror to have like the digital copies of real people,
Yes.
like focus on they focus more on the digital copies than the real life. Like this whole episode took place in the digital copy world.
Yeah.
Besides the last scene, where in USS Callister too, the majority of the episode took place in the digital copy world. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't the real world. So that's definitely a theme that I think Charlie Brooker likes, and I think it might give him more freedom as a writer to kind of do. You know what I mean? You're not constricted to the world you live in. So it's the same people, but they're in an alternate universe. They're a digital copy of themselves. You can kind of do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You can make it your own world. Which I have watched episodes 5 and 6, but I won't talk about them.
Okay. Yeah. So the next two are Metalhead and Black Museum.
Yes.
Which I heard that the Black Museum episode has a lot of callbacks to other Black Mirror episodes of past seasons and this season, maybe. I don't know.
Yep. Yeah, you'll see. I won't spoil it for you.
Before we move on to completely end the podcast, though, I want to bring up a little current events topic that came up with Black Mirror. Did you see that Jimmy Simpson would like to have a spin-off show of his cruise adventure on the USS Callister?
I did. I'd be very into that.
I would be very into that as well. It's kind of weird, right? It's like I feel like I would get a lot of enjoyment out of that type of show. Like I do like Star Trek and all that stuff too, but like, so it comes as no surprise. But I think that would be kind of interesting, right? I don't know. I think that would be kind of cool.
Absolutely. Just like to see like the villains that they've have to face, and
or other people online. You can keep seeing like people like Aaron Paul popping up.
yeah,
cool.
that'd be awesome. I hope they kind of explore that and hopefully can make it work.
Yeah, me too. Well, that'll do it for this week's episode of the Average Nobody's podcast. You can check us out again. It's on iTunes. It's on Stitcher Radio. It's on YouTube. Next week, we're going to be doing TV along with our other topics. We're going to be doing TV Club, the last 2 episodes of season 4 of Black Mirror. So check us out there. If you want to call in, it's 401-285-8120. Call in, talk about Black Mirror, talk about anything else you want to talk about. If you want to talk about Logan Paul, if you want to talk about the Globes, if you want to give us your predictions for the Oscars, we will have our yearly Oscar ballot going out. There's nothing different about our ballot than anybody else's, but you can follow along with us knowing that we are using the exact same ballot.
And we're handsomer than pretty much everyone else on the internet.
Yes, and our faces will be on it, so, perfect souvenir. Well, that's going to do it for today, Ryan. Thank you very much.
Matt, always a pleasure.
And barring a little electrical malfunction for the state of Rhode Island, apparently, I think that was a wonderful podcast.
I agree. I had a blast.
Yeah. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Take care.